Call to order of the August meeting of the Clintonville Area Commission. Welcome everybody. I'm Paul Lada, Vice Chair, sitting in. We'll begin with the Pledge of Allegiance. Please stand as you're able. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Great. We'll start with district updates. Commissioner Miller.
We don't approve the agenda.
Oh. Thanks for helping me out. I'm new. When I approve the agenda, does anyone have any, what's the word? Does anyone have any changes to the agenda? No? Does someone want to, what's the word? I don't know. Rules.
Make a motion.
Does someone make a motion to approve the agenda?
So moved. Second.
All right. All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, there you go. Okay, now we can go to district updates. Commissioner Miller.
Yeah, Drew Miller, District 9, no update this month.
Commissioner Sullivan.
Angela Southside District 4. I didn't attend the July meeting, so I wanted to just lead back to the rain garden meeting held on June 26th because that impacts a lot of residents in District 4. This is an opportunity for residents to hear the plans for the rain gardens in this area. Great opportunity to ask questions and find alternate plans if possible. I think the largest concern I heard was just the overall upkeep of rain gardens. And then a couple of issues have come up in the districts, one being scooters left on sidewalks where the company doesn't come and pick them up and sit there for a couple of weeks. And then another one had to do with residents having chickens and ducks and not keeping the property clean during hot weather.
Commissioner Hadley.
No district-specific updates. I do have an update that we'll touch on later from a city council meeting, but nothing specific to the district.
Paul Lada, District 1. I attended a National Night Out, which was this Tuesday night at Yellow Springs Brewery with our District 1 Block Watch people. It was a pretty good turnout there. We met the liaison officer, who may or may not attend this evening. Columbia Gas restoration is underway on Tulane. We'll touch on that later in the meeting. I attended along with Josh, the accessory dwelling, the ADU public hearing at City Council. It was very interesting. Josh will update us all on that. And a reminder that Crest Fest is August 16th down there in District 1. That's all I have. Commissioner Osborne.
Donna Lee Osborne, District 3. I've had several calls on potential candidates for filling the DC3 seat. So we have 4 candidates, so these calls went well. And then I have received other calls regarding the ADU votes that we're doing and requesting that we slow the process for more public input in the Clintonville area, specifically the Walhalla.
Thank you. We have a slight change in our agenda, not change, but our procedures. The Chair Fossey of the Green Committee has a Arbor Fest update.
Okay, 1 week after Crest Fest is Columbus Arbor Fest here in this very park. Go to the bottom of the hill, go down to fields down there. Our big nature festival, it's one of the biggest events in Clintonville of the year at this point. Year 2, really excited about that. We're working hard to pull it off, but we've basically sold out. We don't really charge vendors, but the festival's full, so now we're just pulling it off. You'll start seeing these posters around the neighborhood and these flyers in local businesses. I have some here if anybody has a local business they'd like to stick one out there. And that's it. So there's a lot going on. You can just go to columbusarborfest.com. It takes a lot of partners and a lot of hard work to do this. And thanks for putting me early on the agenda because we're going to go make signs tonight. So I'm going to keep moving. Anyone like some of these flyers for the local business or anything like that?
Ryan, I'll take some.
Okay. Okay.
Do you have any posters available?
Yes. This one?
I would love having.
Okay. Thank you.
Thanks, Ryan. All right. Now the approval of past minutes. Commissioner Osborne pointed out to me that she wasn't here last week, so she can't approve anything. Regarding that meeting, I know that Commissioner Morris sent around. I don't know if anyone received any comments. I didn't have anything objectionable on there. So does anyone have a motion to approve the past meeting minutes?
So moved.
Second. All right, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those against? Okay. Treasurer's report from Commissioner Miller.
No changes this month.
We are flying through this agenda. We'll be out of here by 8.
All right.
Election report from Elections Committee Chair Dahl.
Good evening. Election day is Saturday, August 23rd. Early voting is Tuesday, August 19th. So election day, the voting is going to be tables to the left of the front desk there, and early voting will be in this room. So the districts on the ballot this year are 2, 3, 6, and 8. 2 is a special election to fill in the remaining term, 16-month term for the open District 2 seat. The following candidates have been certified to appear on the ballot. District 2, Brenda Arnold. District 3, Tom Albanese, Will Clact, Joel Ronchke, and Jordan Tickner. District 6, Mark Moritz. District 8, Joshua Hidley. So the deadline for potential write-in candidates to submit their paperwork is tomorrow 5 p.m. Packets are available at the front desk of Whetstone Library, and that's also where the packet should be returned. So far, as of 6:58 tonight, when I checked at the front desk, no one had submitted write-in candidate paperwork. So down to the wire on that. The election committee will review any write-in candidate paperwork that is submitted and certify any of those candidates by next Tuesday. Under the election rules, if there's only one petition candidate per district and no write-in candidates, the CACU will declare that candidate the winner, and that election, that portion of the election will be canceled. In this scenario, it looks like it could play out for districts 2, 6, and 8. So stay tuned. We'll be posting updates on the status on the CAC Facebook site, the regular web page, and then obviously we have a contested election in District 3. 4 candidates. I think we'll probably have a very good turnout. It's summer. It's also Arbor Fest. I've already seen some candidates are publicizing their campaigns online, so it looks to be pretty exciting going into the 23rd of August. So if there's any questions, I'm happy to field those, but yeah.
I have a couple questions. When's the last time it was a 4-way race?
I know.
Some sort of record?
I cannot, at least it's 2019. I don't think, because I started, I'm not aware of any.
Second question, on District 2, does that person, the winner, immediately seated?
Yeah, they would be sort of seated at the next.
So it's in the September meeting?
September, yeah.
Okay. That makes sense. Any other questions from the commissioners? Any questions from the audience?
Yes, could you let them give the candidates my Hardwick zoning Gmail address and let them know if they want zoning notices, they'd be happy to put them on their list.
Okay, sounds good.
Any other questions from the audience? Great, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, updates from City of Columbus. Are there any city? Oh, there you go. Stacy. Sorry.
Right here. Let me go over close to these donuts. So my updates are very, very brief. I have some literature here. One is for the Neighborhood Best Practices Conference. It's open to everyone. It is, I should know this better, September 20th at Columbus State Community College from 9 to 12:30. It is free. Take one of these, scan that QR code. Registrations on the back. The theme this year is planting seeds for change. Also, deer survey, last call. All right, if you have any experience with our four-legged friends, I'm not sure if anybody has in Clintonville, but this survey ends the 22nd. So please take an opportunity to fill that out. It really is not that long, but it's also very educational. I also have some information. The zone, phase 2 zone in is kind of working itself away around the city. There's a QR code to learn more about it, so we can put that up here, and that's all.
Great, thank you very much. Does anyone have any questions?
Awesome.
Any questions from the audience? Great. I received notice from Suzanne that she will not be able to attend. She's the city council liaison, so she is unable to attend today. And I don't think, are there any other city representatives? No. We are Muslim. Okay. Well, it depends on how long Josh wants to go on the proposed ADU zoning change.
Yeah, okay,
So we just,
if you can put it, I have some slides, but they're certainly not necessary if you can't get them up. They may be the most basic slide deck ever. On the 22nd of July, so maybe 2 weeks ago, Commissioner Latta and I attended a city council meeting where city council member Beatty introduced some proposed zoning code changes specific to ADUs or accessory dwelling units. This is something I think we've all kind of been looking for some guidance on recently, so so we can talk about what they're changing and why. What is an ADU for those of you that aren't familiar? Accessory dwelling units, secondary homes. Sorry?
next big slide.
Oh, yeah. Thought I was driving. Might get a presentation mode and it will blow up. Basically, secondary homes on the same lot as the primary. Permanent structures, not counting trailers or those tiny home sort of things. They have utility connections. Next slide. The reasoning for this is currently ADUs are very difficult to build, as some of us know by having approved some of these zoning variances and things in the past. Almost any ADU build in the city of Columbus right now requires at least one, if not 5 zoning variances to get across the board and be built. I think everybody's familiar with the shortage of housing that we have, and the city believes that ADUs is a good part of increasing the number of housing units that are available. Next slide. So the main points of the proposal, this would affect all residential districts in the city of Columbus. They're suggesting that these ADUs would be required to be located behind the main home, so they have to be accessory to the primary structure. One point that got a lot of discussion in the meeting was that they would like there to be no parking requirements for the ADUs. Increase in lot coverage. Currently, the maximum amount of lot that you can cover with 2 structures is 50%. They're looking to raise that to 65%. They would need to be permanent structures. And then applies to both full units and habitable space. I think that was a big point of contention in the past too. I'm like, what is an ADU? Does it have to have a kitchen or does it have to have a bathroom? In this, it would apply across the board. Next slide. Proposed occupancy and use restrictions in single-family residential zoning areas. They're suggesting that maybe they would have an owner-occupant restriction where one of the 2 units would need to be owner-occupied. Potentially prohibiting short-term rentals. I think that's one that might change. And must comply with building code, not override historic design reviews. Next slide. So This is not part of the zone-in initiative that's happening right now. This is kind of a sidecar thing that I think they're trying to sort of expedite. We're currently in, I think, phase 2 of zoning, which doesn't deal with residential at all. I think, the residential updates come in zoning in phase 3. They suggest that they're looking to pass this legislation by sometime in October, and I think there's a few meetings planned between now and then for further discussion and public comment. Next slide. I was pretty surprised at the meeting. There was zero opposition in any form. Everybody who spoke at the meeting was all in favor of everything that was proposed, and if anything, even suggesting that it be more aggressive in favor of building ADUs. Next slide. A couple of the key things that they talked about, one of which was they're exploring permanent ready ADU designs. Two of the big problems I think with building ADUs right now, A, is dealing with the zoning, but the second one is architecture is expensive. So they proposed doing some standard ADU designs that people could use to build an ADU to help kind of drive down cost and make them more accessible. And then, yes, they're still open to feedback on all of these points. I think the owner occupancy portion will be contended whether or not they would allow short-term rentals, and then lot coverage is still one that I think is pretty well up in the air about what sort of lot coverage they want to see. Like we said, they're looking to finalize in October. They did suggest that area commissions are encouraged to respond formally, so maybe after our discussion today we can talk about, I can put something together for that. Next slide. And then I think, at this point, just maybe discussing so we can put something formal together to send to City Council. I don't know if you guys have any comments on that. I know you made a comment about ADUs during your announcement, but we can discuss as needed.
Is the city asking for commissions to?
Yes.
Yeah, it's not a requirement, but they are encouraging formal responses from all public feedback that they can get, or formal responses from area commissions.
Yeah, we have more of a, eyes on the street that they do citywide, so any kind of nuance or things that we want to discuss. So we can. They showed up some polling that 80% of people in the city are for ADUs. I'm not sure where that came from or how it was conducted, but it's just, I don't know whether it was the numbers someone threw out, but.
It was 100% in the meeting.
Yes. I was really surprised. It was all different groups. It was not only housing advocacy organizations, there were faith groups there. There were biblical references to housing people. There were a young kid, a 17-year-old high school kid.
High school kid from
Wants to know where can he live when he graduated from college. He wants some, and it was good for him for showing up at city council. And it was overall. I mean, there's a lot of positive feedback for that there. But yeah. Anything else you want to add, Josh?
That's all for me.
Okay. Well, if the commission have any kind of thoughts on ADUs as a whole, or in general? Anyone?
I guess, if we look at what's been brought before us, asking for ADUs, there's oftentimes variances somewhere between one, just for the use of a second dwelling, but then there's usually also variances tied to lot coverage, setbacks, heights sometimes. And so I really think we have to look at every application, on its own. So while I support I do think it is very gentle way to increase density in the city. It's still challenging, and I think that we would still need some guardrails in place because not every residential lot can accommodate that. And so I think if we just blanket it and say, yeah, ADUs are allowed, I think what we'll see is a lot of people applying for it and getting turned down, which maybe that's not a bad thing, but I think with certain guardrails, I think it's a good idea.
We'll get to the public comment in just a second.
So once legislation is approved, I mean, is there a process still to getting it approved? I mean, if there's no variance needed anymore.
Yeah, it would be the same process as building a house, but if you weren't requesting any variances, it would not come in front of the commission. It would go straight to the city and be green lighted to construction. And so we would have no input. If they're not requesting a variance, we will not see it. And I think part of their initiative is to help expedite this process and speed things up, reduce costs, and make it easier to construct.
A couple of things I heard there was that they want to impose a height limit. So whether they mentioned 23 feet, I remember, or 27, or they're wavering between the two.
Somewhere in there.
Yeah, and then the ADU cannot be
Taller than the primary.
Yeah, and also a certain percentage has to be a certain percentage of the main residence. It cannot exceed that main residence in size. There was a homeowner in Hilltop who presented, and she's an architect, and she went through, she described the hoops that she had to go through in the amount of time to build an ADU. I personally haven't, not personally myself, but in my few houses away from me, there's an ADU on South Clintonville, and I don't even know it's there. So, you mentioned?
I mentioned just in Ravine, some Walhalla Ravine residents were concerned about the house, how they kind of split the address of Walhalla and sometimes California or whatever. And then let's say you're down in Walhalla and you could put another house right there on the ravine. So that's what they were questioning or concerned about.
I'm not sure how they would address that on large lots. There's neighborhoods that have huge lots too, not only in Clintonville, but citywide.
But that would change definitely the feel of the Walhalla ravine if you're adding another house down, actually in Walhalla.
Well, it would be something we could definitely mention, some kind of natural setting.
Is there a group that's specific to Walhalla, like
There is.
a historic committee or?
It's a recognized neighborhood organization. So they have a email group, but it is a recognized neighborhood group.
And I think in all of our districts, there's probably areas where we would probably feel that ADUs would be inappropriate. Might be inappropriate. I think in District 9, there's a ravine, there's no residential around it, but where Rush Run is between Kanawha and Charleston, it's got that natural feel down there. And there is houses up on those hills, but it's the same scenario where if somebody was allowed to put an ADU down there, all of a sudden it changed that entire atmosphere.
Same with Oak Grove.
Sure.
Yes, very similar.
And I'm also not opposed to, you had to be an owner occupant or you did not have to be?
You have to be.
They're suggesting that
Yeah.
one of the two units would need to be owner occupied. So it
Yeah.
doesn't have to be the primary, but it would need to be one of the two.
Okay.
I think the point of contention with that is, as we've discussed before, that's all good and well until the property sells. And I think you can only enforce that through deed restriction. And I don't know that the city wants to do that. I don't know the specifics of that, but I think that's the problematic point of having an owner occupancy rule, is how is it enforced post-sale?
When I purchased a double to live in, I got a better mortgage rate because I was owner occupant, but I only had to live there for a certain amount of time.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you have to sell them as a unit, the two buildings.
Well, yeah, you'd be selling the parcel.
Yeah.
Yeah. The other thing that was talked about too was would they allow or would they deny future parcel splits? Because I've heard some arguments against it before where in some cities that have done this before, maybe like in San Francisco or something, what's happened is they built a bunch of ADUs and then everybody went and split the parcels and sold off the units. And so now they're two separate houses and they're not together at all. And that's kind of created its own set of problems.
I think just as a matter of form and fairness, no matter what you think, part of the problem we're having with these ADU variances is that we're looking at variances from rules designed for single family housing. So it's hard to judge how much of an impact is this ADU. If you start with rules designed for ADUs, then you can look at it's much easier to say to someone, your project goes too far because these are the rules for ADUs, and you need 7 variances for the ADU, I also, just as the lawyer in me thinks it's absurd that it's a city council decision every time someone wants to build an ADU. That doesn't seem like a city council level decision. She should be setting rules for the rest of us to follow. I think it also shouldn't matter. So right now the commission is overwhelmingly in favor. Sometimes it's been closer. And so there's been times when the difference in yes and no vote is who's sick. And that's not a good way to make policy. If you have a clean set of rules, it's easier to be consistent and fair. It's easier to say no to the bad ones, easier to say yes to the good ones.
Thanks. Are there any more comments from commissioners? Are there any comments from the audience? Yeah.
How many of these have been approved in the last 5 years?
Citywide?
Correct.
I don't know. I know that we've had, here in this commission, we've had 1 or 2 a month. And how many of those are built, I'm not sure.
I think somebody said it's not many. Like citywide, in the last 5 years, I'd be guessing, but less than 50. Maybe significantly less.
I'd say there's probably an average of once a month would be my best guess. Because we have 2 months with no ADs.
Yeah, that's true.
I know that I was at a city council meeting in Hilliard a couple months ago, and they were having the same conversation. And actually, a buddy of mine recently built an ADU there, and they had 2 in the last 5 years. So much less of a point of contention in Hilliard than here in the city.
Any other comments, thoughts from the audience? Yeah.
I'll just say, if you're looking for sort of sentiment, I live out of Oakland Park, and I have a lot that's way too big for what I need, and I have family members that could benefit from such a ADU that I need to be close because of health reasons. But I also grew up in Old Beachwold on a lot that had an extra parcel that my sister turned into essentially an ADU in 1980, and we went through this whole zoning issue then, and she was allowed to stay there because it was a half kitchen, even though it was still a single family. But she was able to benefit from post-college living near us, and she lived there for 12 years, so I kind of grew up. It's still there. It's not a residence anymore. It turned into like a party house, but it was really nice to be able to she was a lot enabled to be able to live near us right after college and start her family on a much more affordable footing. So I think there's a lot of sort of early college and senior benefits to this that I could see over and over again. My neighbor across the street is looking for a granny suite for her mother who can't find one to move in close by, to live near their kids. Multiple stories, so I think if the lot's appropriate, I don't know what the objection, you know, if it's your lot and the neighbors don't mind. It seems like
Nice. We voted on an ADU here not too long ago where it was basically a college apartment for their daughter. Really?
In Northport.
Yeah.
I think the biggest thing though, following up on what Ruth said here, is I don't know that it can be determined by what the neighbors think, long term. So, you know, we're talking about changing rules for whoever owns the property right now, but then how do you enforce it when you sell it? So what does that, that's not gonna stop anything if somebody wants to do it then, you know, and both the not owner occupant, they just flip it to somebody else's name, it's no longer in their name.
Or an
So,
LLC.
I mean, they've gotta figure out that loophole before they approve that.
Well, we can certainly mention that in our comments. Oh,
For the record, the neighbors in Old Beach Road were very opposed to my sister's ideas in 1980. I'm sure they would be today. I don't know who represents Old Beach Road. It was more from a historic preservation point of view, which couldn't really argue that. There was no precedent.
Yeah, well, and I think areas like Old Beach Road would have additional restrictions because they do have, there is a historical body.
It's loose.
It's loose, but it
Yes,
exists.
it's.
Uh,
I think
it's looser.
Doesn't it relate to the house, not anything more that
You
you
just can't change out windows, it seems like.
Yeah.
That's right.
The window.
Don't try to change it.
Right, yeah, and be efficient in each one.
My last comment would be, I think I wanna see what the guidelines and rules are that they put around ADUs before I would, make a recommendation one way or the other. I really I feel strongly that they're not appropriate everywhere. And somebody might have a lot that it can fit, but it still might not be appropriate for the character of the neighborhood. I fall back on that.
So Josh, you were saying that they are wanting to do, to pass legislation in October,
Correct.
so
that seems quick.
that seems fast, so that goes.
And I think the meeting that we attended was the first speaking of this.
And that comes back to the comments that I'm getting from the wall or being, that they want the process to slow, so you can actually have public comment. So I'm not sure, I mean, how are we even forming an opinion in writing that we're all agreeing to? And then having the commissioners that aren't here chime in, you know, say next month, and then get it to them before their meeting in October. I don't even see how that's possible.
There's a hearing September 10th.
There's another one September 10th.
Thank you. I sent it.
Is that in council chambers again? Okay.
But that would be, if they vote in October, that would be the last.
Yeah.
Is there draft legislation to look at, or I don't know how it happens, does the city introduce it? or not?
Yeah, I don't know if there's anything official published.
If I could make one other really quick comment, this is just because I have another view on something. That for the city to enable, back to this point about quick process, there's no way that somebody can afford to build an ADU and go through the traditional building process that the city has. If it's new, if it's architecture, I mean, it's 5 different departments and you get stopped at one, no one's gonna want to do it. So I think that there needs to be some appreciation for the city's sort of ability to manage, let's say 500 people apply for ADUs, how are they gonna manage through that? So getting them to look at their own bureaucracy, if you will, would be important.
Yeah, because I have to check make sure it adheres to the zoning requirements and then also the building permit stuff for typical engineering.
Yeah. I mean, if they're really intending to use it as a tool for density, reduction.
Great, I think there'd be some really great comments here and observations, and Josh is already halfway through.
A lot of fun, half
All right. Let's move on. Thank you everyone for commenting. Next one, Chair Hardwick with our one zoning item.
Make it, I'm trying if there's time to address the envelope issues that were brought up at the last meeting, I'd be happy to. This is a demolition for a house at 138 West Trier. The question is whether they have to wait till August 31st or whether you let them get started in the morning. They came to the hearing, they've been very cooperative. You've all read the minutes, I think, are a good explanation of what happened. We didn't see any reason to delay it, though. We didn't see any benefit for the last 3 weeks, and again, the Clipville Historical Society does get all emails for this demo permits we get here, that we do hearings on. Haven't heard back from them. No one that makes something else just contacted me. There's no letters don't go out for these, but it's still like put out the agenda on the MailChimp zone. I think the contractor is here if you have any questions.
Sure. Hi. Go ahead.
No, as he says, and as it's listed here on the screen here, this is
you're George Cleary?
I am not George Cleary. I work for George.
Okay.
That this is, we are demoing a primary residence in order to build a new lot, a new residence on that lot, a little larger for family with 3 kids now. They've outgrown their current house, but they love the neighborhood and they want to be able to stay in the neighborhood. And the current house just isn't sufficient. It has no historical value, so there's no real reason for delaying a demolition. We have our permit. The family has moved out already, and we are all set to demo as soon as we get approval.
I'm sorry, what was your name, sir?
John Hamlin.
Okay, just for the record.
Okay.
How many square feet is the new addition? New building, sorry. Just out of curiosity.
Well, since we are providing a finished down lower level, I think it's upwards of about 2,000 square feet.
It doesn't matter for the book, but I was just curious.
Are you building an ADU? No ADU.
Does the commission have any questions?
Are there any trees being preserved?
There is one tree that is being taken down, and it actually has already been taken down.
Any questions from the audience? Okay, let's go for a vote then, right? Let's go around.
Sure.
Commissioner Miller?
Yes.
Commissioner Saucer?
Yes.
Commissioner Ryan?
Yes.
Commissioner Osborne?
Yes.
And I'll be yes as well. Congratulations. We have a quorum.
All right. Great.
Okay.
Yes, Mayor. I understand that some people are having difficulties getting the zoning notices mailed out. I don't think anyone is lying. I think the most likely thing is it's junk. People look at it and think it's junk mail. We're doing our best to try to do that. If someone tells you that it's a recent letter that should have gone out, that they didn't get it, you can ask them to check their informed delivery as quickly as possible so that it doesn't fall off the end. It would be good to know where the problem is, because if the post office says it's sent to them, then there's a problem between their eyeballs and the central post office. And I don't always drop them off there. The last ones were dropped off at the publicly available mailbox next to the security desk in my office building downtown. So I don't think it's the chance. And I also then started, as of a couple months ago, sending notice, including myself in the notices, just to make sure that I get a copy of them. And I've always gotten copies since I started doing that. One possibility is the spending. I just did some quick searches. Buying something like this zoning notice the stamp on everything.
Yeah, on the envelope.
Yeah.
On the envelope.
On the envelope, on the outside of the envelope. And I can talk, oh, and I can pass these around. These are what the return labels you graciously paid for. And we already tried to put professional looking labels with color, identifying it from the Valerian Commission.
I think a big red zoning change in your neighborhood.
Next door.
Should just be but some people.
Urgent, please read.
Some people thought the benefit of the zoning, saying zoning notices, they might think they're in trouble and think they need to open it.
Yes,
But,
I think most people don't.
And the issue is people are saying that they're not seeing
yes,
it.
they're saying they're not seeing that.
How often does this happen?
I know the last time there were a couple, and every once in a while, every month or every couple months, someone says they didn't get it. I check to see if they're on the list, because I use the list that the applicant provides to the city, and the city provides to me. I guess I could start I thought about putting linking the mailing labels in my agendas, which have all the links, and putting it in MailChimp. The only disadvantage with that, besides it being a little bit more work, is that's everyone's residential address, a name and address being posted on a in MailChimp, someplace that's publicly available, and easily publicly available. I don't know if that's a good idea or not.
It's on the auditor's side anyhow.
It's a little more work.
I guess.
But I'm just saying that's a downside. Is it a killer downside?
I think there's only so much you can do, and it seems like you're doing all that's needed to do. And if people don't check their mail, they don't check their mail, regardless. Yeah.
We could get custom envelopes with something printed on it, so it's like just stands out.
I did look at those one point seem pretty expensive, but I could be, especially if you're looking at them at the quantities we're looking at, like 1,000.
Zoning notice from the Clintonville area.
A sticker.
The sticker. I mean,
If you have the funds.
We do have a
You
bunch
can
of
get it as rubber stamping and stamp it.
so do because of we have our PO box, because we can always cross that off if you get a different PO box or something. But I'd have to think about how many letters go out. Sometimes there are none. Sometimes I get 80 letters go out easily, if there are a bunch of applicants in a dense part of the state. So Ravine ones are very easy because there's.
I have wondered, I know like in Worthington, they do the yard sign at the property in question.
We do have that now.
We do that.
And one applicant told me that the city required them to send a picture of it in their yard to prove that they had it up.
When did that start?
that started a couple years ago.
I've never seen it.
They're small.
I don't think I've ever seen a sign.
They're like an election kind of sign.
Oh, okay, yeah, actually, maybe I have, yeah, all right.
But if you want to start putting the big red stamp on it, I can do that. If you want me to work with Stacy about pricing out custom envelopes, I'm not sure if doing a custom envelope would be better than something with those labels on it.
I think these labels are a great start. These are what you're currently
Yes.
doing, or these are new?
Those are I've been using those or something similar to them for a few years now.
Is that something we can get from the city? Doesn't the city have a print shop or?
With the envelopes,
Yeah.
I have to look into that, I'm not sure. I'll look into that, but I don't think so, actually.
I like to say, if you get envelopes, please get self-sealing ones. But if you want, let me know if you ever want me to try to look at doing the stamp. I don't want to, that's just looks like it'd be somewhere between $40 and $50 is for an appropriately sized stamp. That's just my ballpark look at it.
And it might almost look like in some ways, it could look like a commercial as well, like an advertisement.
Yeah, but if anyone has expertise in how to present envelopes that people actually open, please let me know. And again, ask people to please check their informed delivery if they tell you they didn't get it. Because if there is a problem, I want to fix it. If it's just people aren't opening their mail, then I still want people to open it. I want to encourage them to open it because part of the purpose of this process is they're twofold. Letting the public and people who need to know about this have a chance to make meaningful comment that you can consider fairly in making your decision. The other purpose of that is to, after people have had their chance to make meaningful comment, you can feel confident making your decision and not have to say, okay, we need to come back and do more public comments so we can decide this again. So that process, so by the time it comes to you, people have had a chance to have their say, you can make a decision.
I saw in the minutes somebody suggested postcards, but that it would have some drawbacks. Can you say a little bit more about postcards?
The biggest drawback is it's hard to customize them. Like right now, I try to I write a small paragraph about what it is. It's much harder to customize, to do that on 80. It's easy to do that on a piece of paper that you just print off, fold, and put it in an envelope. I guess less information can be better, but I'd probably have to do it in the form of getting giant stickers that could run through. You can buy postcard size stickers, I think. I guess you could do that. Postcard size stickers.
Then you have to print every postcard, right?
But you could, I'd have to then take pull that off and put it on a postcard. Yeah. Put it on a postcard. Or I'd have to get postcards at my printer, my little workhorse laser printer that does black and white and struggles with envelopes but does paper just fine.
Any other thoughts?
I appreciate all that you want to go through with this, and really, it seems like this should be enough at the end of the day. If we trust that the letters are going out, and if people don't open them, there's nothing we can really do about it. Doesn't matter what it looks like. If people are tossing it, it's not going to change it.
Any comments from the audience?
I have a question. So when you get this zoning notice in the mail, I've never gotten one, actually. Are you required to respond?
No.
Or is it just, this is your opportunity to respond?
The letter expressly says you do not have to.
Okay.
come to
So
the
then why do we
meetings.
care if they don't care enough to read their mail?
And I just, if anyone wants to see, I pass around what it looks like. If anyone has ideas.
I feel like this is adequate.
There's
It seems adequate to me. Does anybody else want to see it?
There's an email list, or like you can like subscribe to an email list where you get the information.
Yes, and one thing that is hard, you can, if you find that email, if you find one of the postings on Facebook or Blue Sky, I think it's CAC zoning notices on Blue Sky. And I use Blue Sky now because it's a public format that you don't need to sign up for or register for. There are very few social media sites that are like that anymore. If you search CAC zoning notices, you should be able to find that, but I believe I put that down in my letter. People go there. And the email list, if you find any old email or the posting, they all have a link to where it's posted, where you can look at the website, and those have a subscribe button on them. You can see all the past issues as well. The one problem with the MailChimp is some people get that spammed now. MailChimp is doing it used to use my email address as the return email. They've now changed it to the hardwick.zoning at some random set of numbers at mailchimp.com so that it's not spoofed anymore, because spoofed. But so if you are an email list, put it in your contact list, and that way it's less likely to go to spam. Look at the email it's actually coming from. It's not from my email address anymore.
Okay. Excellent.
Okay.
Okay, next item is an update from Columbia Gas. Dita's here. But I have a couple things to say.
Go, what's that?
One is, I was really impressed with my neighbors on Tulane who got together and just bombarded the city with, and you, with emails and regarding the trees.
Stacy was right there with me.
Yeah, and then,
all those emails.
then the forestry and both DPS, Department of Public Service, and you, Columbia Gas, got together and resolved the issue, found a solution. And all the trees don't have to be torn down, so that's great.
Yeah.
And I noticed they did the first set of curbs that are going gangbusters on my block last week. This week, not so much.
I have the list. So shout out to, we work together. So I'm really, really proud, because I always say this, right? But it took a while for me to gain some credibility with you all and with the city of Columbus. And so it did take the advocacy of this community, and I love Clintonville. I'm always in the hood. And so I'm proud to be a part of the solution. So we were able to save 10 trees, right? And we really had to press down and call the powers that be, and we did what we could and we made it happen. So I'm really excited about that. And then also the work on Weber, I've really been on our team to ensure that every week those empty lots are being taken care of. So I have Sue, and she'll call and text me if it's not, and I would advise anybody, if you see things that we're doing wrong, please tell me and we'll fix it. But for the work, I actually have a breakdown for you. And this, based on the weather, it changes, but from July 28th through August 8th, it was Indianola to Esmond. Esmond to Druid would be August 11th to August 18th. Druid to Camelot would be August 18th through the 25th. And then Camelot to Findlay would be August 25th through September 2nd. And then they're working, he's very specific in this email. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna copy it all, send it over
So send it on to your list.
to my email list. He just sent this to me yesterday. So I'll update the community with all of these details. I had some one-offs. The gentleman that came a couple months ago that was really upset. We're working with him, also the young lady that came in, we're working with her, and a lot of people just kind of one-offs to try to resolve any issues that we had.
So the next block begins next week, looks like. That's my block.
Yes, and it's all 2-lane, but those cross sections.
We had no parking signs up for 2 weeks on our block, and after the week, everyone started ignoring them because there was no work going on our block. So.
I'm working with signs. It's been my struggle from the beginning. So we're still working to be better at that. And then it's contractor, subcontractor, subcontractor. So it's working through all of those different levels to just keep trying to reiterate proper signage, and sometimes it's just confusing. So just better understanding of what are the times that they can't park here. Is it for a week or is it just 2 days? So I'm working with them to try to be better at that. But you know what? We're about to be out of here, and you're just gonna be we're just gonna be fixing stuff and worried about the Weber sites. But until then, we'll continue to be better. And
Well, they'll be after you for the lawn restoration, so that takes a little longer.
I'm up here every month. Catch me in the back.
All right, thank you. Any comments from the commission?
And just a little heads up. What's that here? What was that? On Morrison, Indianola. It's Clintonville. Work is gonna be coming 2027. So who's over there on
Yeah, Josh.
we'll talk soon. But that's 2027. So we'll beg for things later, but I want to talk about it beforehand.
I'll start driving around now. The other way.
Any comments from the audience? All right, now we've reached the public comment phase of the meeting. I know that someone wanted to introduce a new business.
Oh, yeah, hi. So this is Dr. Mathis-Dow. We're just new to the area, so we wanted to say hi to you guys. We are co-veterinary specialty emergency hospital. We are just a little south of here on High Street, starting demo for remodel this week. So just wanted to say hi.
Where on High Street?
You know the local canteen is?
Yeah.
We're in that building. So we'll be sharing.
So there's an emergency vet there.
Yeah, there will be.
All kinds of pets, or?
Dogs and cats.
I heard really good things about you.
Thank you. Yeah, we do currently have a brick and mortar location up in Delaware. When do you open, do you think? First quarter next year. Okay. And then what's it called again? Cope Veterinary Specialty and Emergency Hospital.
What would the hours for that be?
They will be urgent care style hours in the evenings, weekends. We'll have specialty, so our board and specialists during the day will be Monday through Friday, roughly 8 to 4, 8 to 5 with the specialty. Urgent care will open 3 or 4 p.m. until roughly midnight, Monday through Thursday. Once you roll into Friday, Saturday, Sunday, we'll have extended hours to supplement when normal vets are closed, as our goal to be available.
That's really terrific. Very welcome. Thanks.
We do not, okay.
Are there any other public comments? Yeah.
Well, I should introduce myself. I have business across from yours, Rewash Soap Refillery. Sean, your contractor, is great. So good. So I'm so excited that there's going to be something there because I stare at it all the time. So I'm here once again. Maybe Stacy and I should sidebar, but the parking issue that I'm having on High Street has not been resolved. A police officer came to talk to me and told me basically that all the 311 requests I put in are pointless, and I'm at my wit's end. So I don't know, but he works Monday through Friday, and he said that there's no one for coverage Saturday and Sunday.
I will contact, we have a new community liaison officer. Is that him?
It might have.
Lyons?
I was looking for a picture. I took a picture, it was bad.
Would you mind restating your concerns for the
Yes,
record?
of course. So I own the business at 3133 North High Street in the old Nancy's Rewash Soap Refillery. I have 4 residential apartment units above my building on my side, and the other side has 3 upstairs apartment units, and the residents do not follow the 2-hour parking Monday through Sunday regulation that is posted, and I have no parking enforcement help, and this has been an almost 4-year struggle. The residents think that they are entitled to that parking, and they stay parked 24 or 48 hours, especially Friday. They come home from work, and they don't move until Monday morning, and it takes all the parking from my business.
Stacy, I have a question. I guess maybe would it be our police liaison officer who could explain how 2-hour parking is enforced? I know personally when I see those signs, I'm like, okay, I'll pull it in. I'm only going to be here an hour, no problem. 3 hours, all right, maybe I'll try it. But to leave your car there overnight or on the weekend, like that's pretty absurd. And how can that be enforced?
I don't know. That would definitely be a question for Officer Lyons. I'm taking note. I will email him. I'm off tomorrow, so I will email him on Monday. He's very responsive. Very responsive. I asked him to do 2 things already, and they're like done. Yeah. And so I know he'll touch base. I don't think it would be him this weekend. So that.
I'm gonna scroll through. I took a picture, and the officer that came basically said, "I'm the one that keeps getting your 311 requests," and
No, I'm one of the precinct guys. Precinct 3.
Does anybody know if does the city of Columbus have people who walk around and issue tickets? We don't, because those meters are all now like through Park Mobile, right?
No, they have the cars, the license plate readers, and so if you're parked, and if you're parked in one of those parking zones, and you're up, you get a ticket in the mail, I guess, because they just drive around and read your license plate, they kind of make sure you're using the parking app.
Well, there's definitely people that are driving around checking though, or doing, because I got a parking, the most ridiculous parking ticket ever. It was like 2 painted lines, and I paid through the app. And then, I couldn't see that the sign said no parking ahead of this line, but there were like 2 white lines, like it was a parking space, like there were a bunch of them. You know what I mean?
Was it in Clintonville?
No, it was downtown.
Yeah, so they get
Right.
coverage for
Oh,
campus.
it's different, right?
Yeah,
Yes,
it's
yes,
like
yes, yes.
there's
That
so
makes
much
sense.
coverage.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But there's no app signs in Clintonville.
Right.
There's no
Right.
enforcement.
Right.
Yeah, I think to your point, 2-hour parking is very hard to enforce because you gotta like drive by,
How do you know when they park?
look around, and then drive by in 2 hours and remember who was there.
I mean, I think it's basically just to prevent overnight parking, which is exactly what's happening.
Yeah, and I have actually set up security cameras just to watch the cars. So I have lots of footage of cars. All the residents will stay. So there's like 4 cars. If you come out on a Saturday morning, the smoke is coming out of my ears because those cars have been there 24 hours.
Do you think that your business would benefit from there being meters?
Absolutely, 100%. Especially if there was some sort, because what's happening is my customers park across the street in your parking lot and play Frogger and run across High Street, and it creates just this domino effect of, because the biggest feedback I have going in, I'm about to celebrate my 4th anniversary, we've been there a while. The biggest feedback is people say there's no place to park. So it's frustrating, especially with all the hurdles of the small business in general.
I like the idea of meters, but then we couldn't enforce them.
Well,
Would it be the same?
Yeah, park mobile.
Right, but how do they know if you moved your car? Like, did they actually send people around to check
Yeah,
that?
in parking
It's
zone
the company.
areas that have the signs, they have the city has cars with license plate readers on them.
Okay,
They just drive around.
so it'd be the company doing it versus trying to get.
I think the
officers.
city almost actually has, parking enforcement vehicles with those cameras on them. Yeah. They just reads the license plate real quick and checks the database of whether you paid or not. If not, you get the ticket. Just, I don't know if they put it on your windshield anymore or not.
It depends where you are. Downtown is on windshields.
Is it on windshields?
Someone who supports parking variances thinks is a way to avoid seas of needless asphalt. And this is something that needs to be enforced because the city is pushing us and you are giving lots of parking variances and but you need rules to make that work someplace. And you don't need someone every weekend to checking them every weekend. If they were checked every few weekends, that would be enough. That would probably be enough to stop them from doing it. If they just knew that it could happen sometime in the next month, then you can't play that game forever. Yes, but I think that's something that's fair for the commission to push the city on, that if they want you to approve parking variances, they need to enforce the rules. And the city parking people will tell you that those rules exist to keep spots moving and make sure there's always an available spot for someone who needs it.
Mine is 1333.
Okay. Thanks on that. Are there any other public comments? Yeah.
I'll introduce myself. I'm a small business owner here in Clintonville, and with the board of the Clintonville Area Business Association. I actually utilize you for our salon soap, glad to see that here. But I'm just trying to become more frequent to make sure I can kind of be a part of the community and see where I can help or how we can support each other. So.
Your contact information?
I have a business card.
All right, that'd be great, yeah.
What's your business?
Sage and Soul is my salon in Indianola, if you've seen my sign. We've been there for almost 3 years now. Kind of been moving quietly and working on being more involved with the business scene and the small business owners here in Clintonville. Thank you.
Great, thank you.
You're welcome. Thanks for coming.
Any other public comments? Okay. Not quite 8 o'clock. But next month, we'll have more people here on the commission side. And we'll also be talking about our, is it PIC? No, CIP. CIP with Eliza. The planning and development has made some recommendations for what those might be. So I sent an email, maybe you guys can check it out, see what kind of things that they're proposing. So with that, we're adjourned.